Hey guys, I just wanted to jump on here and talk a little bit about an experience I had over the weekend where I had a very deep, very profound trauma release through a pick a card reading, not one of mine, through watching someone else's. And it was so powerful and it really made me reflect not just on the importance and the relevance of these kind of readings, but also how to interpret them and how to listen to them. And I really wanted to share this for anyone who does tune into these kind of readings as a different way of, or different ways to work with the information that you're presented with in the reading. So I'll explain what happened for me, and then I'll explain what I think that means in terms of these readings in general. I've been out in the rain. My hair's a bit crazy. I've just been out in the rain, but I just felt so driven to make this video. I'm just jumping on and doing it. So the reading for me, what happened was I wanted to understand someone else's perspective of me. And what it did is it came up with something that was quite shocking to me, and kind of you could explain it as quite negative. You could say it was quite really seeing my shadow. And what that did was it allowed me to see my shadow aspect and part of myself that I was denying, suppressing, not wanting to see, not wanting to admit, but this shadow aspect of myself that, before I couldn't really handle. And I've done a lot of shadow work and I've seen a lot and I know a lot of my shadow aspects, but there was this one particular aspect or insight that when I watched this video, it triggered something in me that felt so true. But what I would say is that particular shadow aspect was not what I feel in this life. Maybe hints of it, there's little kind of parts of it that maybe creep through here and there, but it's not predominantly who I am in this life. But it triggered, I felt like it when I was watching, when I was in that reading, I felt it like it was in this life. And this reading was actually quite full on because it wasn't coming from the perspective of the person who it was talking about, right? It was talking about the perspective of the person who was viewing that person. That's just getting complicated. Anyway, it was kind of that perspective, looking at me rather than from how I felt about the way that person was looking at me. And it was kind of like, it was pretty full on. And the reading did kind of say, basically, this person, me, wouldn't be able to overcome this shadow aspect of themselves unless they died. That was the only way they were going to get rid of this. And so it was quite intense, and it's not, it's something full on, and I probably wouldn't do in my videos, but I really respect this reader, and I don't think I would have attracted this particular reading unless I was able to take in or work with the information I was given. And at the time, immediately, I felt that was true. I felt like, yeah, I have to die. Like there's no other way for me to release this aspect of myself. And I sat with that for a few hours, and I literally went into shock. My body went into shock. I became kind of paralyzed, like I couldn't move, and I was like holding myself, like I was just kind of couldn't do anything, and just like crying, but not even like just like the tears were just coming out, but there almost wasn't the crying. But then like moments of this deep grief, and I felt this pain. I felt my chest just like absolutely ripped open, and like it was horrible. It was really horrible, right? And I really felt like how I don't know how I can carry on living with this pain that I've caused, with this trauma that that I've inflicted. And anyway, with a few hours, I just kind of was like, not like I need to end my life, anything like that, but just like I have to accept this is part of me, and that I have to choose a different way to live. Like, I can't be like this. Like, there's no way I can be like this. And I have to remove myself from everything that I'm doing. I have to take a step back from and just really be aware of myself, really like just like completely like cut everything, like, okay, what do I know that I need to do? How can I be? That kind of thing. And anyway, I kind of calmed down and started to just accept, okay, that's just what I need to do. And I was staying at my mum's house. I was at a family wedding event the day before, and I went down, had breakfast, and I was like, Mum, I'm going to go for a walk in the woods. And I was going to take the dog, my mum's dog, and a friend's dog, take them with me. And my mum said, okay, that's fine, but just when you go in the woods, just be aware, we found a dead bird this morning and it's on this tree stump. So keep them away from it. And I was like, all right, okay. And she said, yeah, it's we found a dead bird of prey. And I was like, wow. That was like, it felt really significant, very powerful, because it was a bird of prey. And this life that I had, or this feeling that I'd gone into, was an experience that I was a predator, that I was like a bird of prey. And she said, this bird of prey, they found it dead this morning. And I was like, okay. And it gave me some hope. And I was like, okay, maybe this is part of me that's dying, part of me that has died. And she said, yeah, we've put it on the stump. We call it the sacrificial stump. Right? So I was like, whoa. The what? The sacrificial stump is like they put this bird of prey on it for a fox or something to take. So it was very symbolic, and something about it felt really hopeful for me. I was like, okay, there's something in this for me. And I went down into the woods and I went and looked at this bird. And when I looked at the bird, it was lying on its back with the wings to its side, and it was absolutely intact, except its eyes were a bit kind of like dodgy. And it was a bit messy, but otherwise intact. But exactly over its heart, ripped open. And I just stared at it, and I was like, this is what I just experienced. And I saw it as a death. And I understood that this death was not that I needed to die, but that part of me needed to die. And what I'd just been through the few hours before was that death. I'd allowed something to die. And there was a feather lying on top of this bird, and I thought, I'm going to take that feather as a kind of reminder, as something, symbolic from this experience. And as I picked it up, I nearly vomited. It was like, the energy, it was just, I could not go anywhere near it. So I like threw it over, like vomited energy, which is what I often do, like to release energy is just that, and carried on in the woods. And as I was walking, what sort of came to me was really that this person, this experience, this aspect of myself was not really a conscious aspect of myself in this life, but some kind of echo through ancestral lineage, through past lives, collective, like I'm not sure exactly where from, but from some kind of previous experience. And it was like it came up through me to be released and to die through me, and I allow that process. And that was what I needed to do. And still really relevant was like, okay, I need to look at my life again, and I need to reassess and look at what's going on here. And so I did that, and I had deep grief, like some deep grief come up, and knowing that I needed to let things go, and just allow for a fresh perspective on who I am and where I am. And it was very powerful, but it was just from this card reading. So what I wanted to say in terms of card readings, and for anyone who tunes into them and does use them, is just to be aware how powerful they can be. And when you really choose to go into something to really explore something and allow yourself to hear something or see something and trust that it's coming through intuitively. But when you get the information, you have to have a real discernment about what that means for you, because it's not like what you are being presented with is the truth, right? Is the reality of how someone sees you, or what someone feels, or whatever it is that's going on. It's about you being able to understand different aspects of yourself, because that's all it is, right? When you tune into card readings that are about how other people feel or whatever, that kind of thing, particularly, what you're doing is tuning into this aspect of yourself, this other aspect of who you are, and seeing yourself in different ways. So this is really for anyone. I think, you know, people who are really coming into this kind of readings and this kind of journey with a very, very conscious awareness is, with the readings, and mine included, is not to take things at face value all the time. And whatever the title of the reading, it doesn't really matter. It's more about you feeling into, is this reading relevant for me? Because actually that reading I went to, I would not normally choose to pick a reading like that, but I felt there was something in it for me. And I would not normally pick to read it in that way, but there was just something that took me down that path. And I did, and now I'm like, wow, I'm so glad it did, because it had this huge impact, this huge transformation on me. And yeah, it's just deep. Like, it can be really powerful and really deep. So I'm really honoring the power of these readings. Like, I mean, this was one of my a most powerful, deep experience, and it was something that was just kind of spontaneous through an experience. And I tend to find that more and more, that I don't need to go necessarily to really deep workshops or to I don't know, like any of these kind of like really deep explorative things. It comes in my daily life. It's just things that I bump into, people I meet, or things I hear, or this feeling that comes up. And that's my lesson, that's my journey and my tool. And that's kind of what I really want to offer with my cards as well, and with my readings, is a way to just deepen the journey and the lesson with yourself and your own experience, your own development. Because it's like one step closer. I really feel with the pick a card readings, I'm really trusting that my listeners they're trusting their discernment about what they're picking and what they're listening to, and they're going to receive or hear the information as they need to. So if you've listened this far to this video, then you're one of those people, right? That you do kind of get that. And I really want to honor you and say thank you, and thank you for being a part of my channel and contributing by being a viewer, because I really believe in this as an amazing form of transformation. And it's like, the more I do it, the more powerful it really feels. And I think there is something particularly in the tarot that is very ancient, and that I'm still, on a journey with myself to fully understand. And with the cards themselves, it is channeling, right? It's just a form of channeling. So anyway, thank you so much for listening. I hope this helps you. If you have any similar experiences or anything, I'd love to hear below. But I do, I get a lot of feedback from people who have listened to my readings or other readings and just have very deep insight, and it's really shifted and changed something for them. So I'm really grateful for those sharings as well, and I look forward to doing more for you. So sending you love and blessings, and I look forward to speaking to you again another time.